Hello, everyone. We're here to talk about the online arbitrage book by Chris Green, chapter 13, Learn a Line. So if I go there, I think you can see this page. So it's Learn a Line. Learn what products are going to be popular, hot, hard to find, in short supply, and collectible. And then you probably can sell better and get a better price for it too. And ways to learn a line are to watch TV and take notes of commercials. So, you kind of zip through commercials these days if you see commercials. And Chris is suggesting to watch the commercials because, these folks are paying money to advertise these products. So take note of that. When you're in the store, pay attention to the main aisle and to its caps. I think they probably pay more, the products pay more to be on the main aisle and on the cap. Go to a website, any retail website, and look at the homepage, and any products there are probably going to be hot sellers or something that they're are going to be a hot seller. Of course, look on Amazon's movers and shakers. You can see a product that's moved up in the ranks really quickly. And then just listen, listen to your Facebook and see what's popular there. Listen, pay attention to your friends' conversations. There's usually some hint as to what is popular. And in particular, if we're talking about toys, he says identify and find short packs. And I'd never heard that term before. And short packs are when the demand outstrips the supply. Also look for rare versions. Oh, shoot. Chase figures and flagship products. I should have looked this up. I don't know what they mean. And I will highlight these so that I can look them up and update this document. Toywiz.com is a website that doesn't sell at retail price, but it sells, its price is based on demand and supply. And he suggests you get on their email list. I just did that this week. And the tip there is to go onto Toywiz and look for any higher priced items. If there are variations on a product and you notice that one variation is priced higher than others, that's probably going to be a hot selling item. Or look for any out of stock items, and that's probably an indication that it's a good seller. And there's a website called Brian's Toys, which is very similar. Also look for trending brands. Oops. I went to this website. It was like, wow, this is really cool. Moosetoys.com, and they are like an umbrella for a whole bunch of different brands of toys. And the great thing about that website is it tells you where they sell their products. And also there's probably some press releases on their products, so you can learn about, the latest and greatest release. You can also look at the history of press releases and understand. It just gives you a deeper understanding of the product line, and it may help you predict what's going to happen next. Also, another way of learning a line is by joining groups, forums, and fan sites. So Chris suggests looking at movers and shakers. Look at the products that are sold out, and then have that as like the start for your rabbit trail. Do a search and see where else is sold, see where else it's being mentioned in Google, and you can learn a lot about a product that way. And then he talks about the concept I am not a toy person, so this was all kind of cool to me. But the girl toy in a boy line of toys. I should put a slash in there. Meaning, so for example, the example he gave was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is primarily a line of toys for boys. But when there's a girl character in that line of toys, that will probably mean it's going to be a hot seller. Which was interesting to me, which I could see that. I mean, it's unusual and it's unique, and the kids want it. I'd want it. And then if you want to look for a toy brand or whatever, always put in the word toy, and then you can find the actual toy. Something that he brought up was counterfeit. Oh, okay, now I understand the correlation. So, understand your line, learn your line. Also understand how that line could be counterfeit, or, ways that it could be counterfeit. And ways that they are counterfeit are if it's not in retail packaging, if it's just outside of its packaging, if it's coming directly from China, and if it doesn't include accessories. So be sure and check for that stuff. As he had mentioned before, press releases are a good way to understand what's up and coming for a certain brand. In addition to, if you look at the history, you can learn more about the brand. Viacom.com. That was interesting. I mean, I've heard of Viacom, but I didn't understand that that was such a huge umbrella of a whole bunch of different brands and huge hierarchy. And that's where you can find announcements and new stuff. And then there's a link there for the video, which summarizes pretty much everything that was discussed up until then. And then he continues on with another example of a girl toy in a boy toy line. And you can look in the PDF, but it was, the price was really high on Amazon. So it was, a hot seller, but you could buy it low at Target. So that's your opportunity to buy low and sell it high on like eBay, Toy Wiz, and Rakuten. Popular Movies is another that always creates new products. So be on the lookout for all the movies that are coming up. I'm not a real big movie fan, but I have a feeling that not too many movies have been coming out. It'd be interesting because isn't Christmas a good time for movies to come out? Anyways, there are plenty of movie review sites, and I just did a search on top movie review sites in 2020. And here are a list of the top 5. And Chris mentions Rotten Tomatoes, and it's not in the top 10 even in this particular list. But I noticed it was the top 1 in another one. So I honestly don't know if Rotten Tomatoes is any good or not. And then learning your line, eventually, it's going to become old or not as current, and it's going to become a collectible item if it was popular at one time. And so he kind of explained how to research an old popular item. And the example he gave was Monster High, but I think that was too old, because in the search, I mean, you could find like one quantity of a Monster High product sold by one seller, and the price was super high. So I guess if you're looking at the product and someone else is selling it, some store is selling it for a lot cheaper, which I don't think is going to happen since it's so old. It's a great buy low, sell high opportunity, but I don't think that's what they're talking about here. But the one tip that he did talk about was if you really want to keep an eye on it, just look at Keepa and see what the price was at one point and set it at a point that's lower than it is today. And the seller may want to just dump it, so they might just lower the price to a point where you could buy it. So that was one of his tips. And then also a product, a toy could be in different variations, you know, different colors, different accessories. So look at the different variations for a particular toy, and you will notice that some are hotter than others. Like for one, the one that he showed in there was one that was pink, was selling as a hot seller. So just keep it out for variations of products. So that was it. Chapter 13, Learn a Line. So for next week, I would say let's do chapter 14, Learn a Line, highlight Legos, which is only 17 pages, and then stay current with Zoolert, which is only 4 pages. So kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So that's it. We'll see you next week, 4 o'clock Pacific Daylight Time, last Pacific Daylight Time. We'll talk to you then. Bye.